Farmers in China's Xinjiang province are turning a desert into a thriving farmland. Why would China take millions of fish, crayfish, salmon, even saltwater species, and dump them into one of the driest, most inhospitable deserts on Earth? It sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. But this wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated move. And 1 year later, the results have shocked the scientific community, stunned the agricultural world, and forced everyone to ask, what else have we underestimated? It's the harvesting season, but no, we're not talking about harvesting pumpkins, corn, apples, or any land-grown crops, but rather some land-grown seafood. The vision that no one believed. In the vast expanse of northwest China, where most would expect nothing but sand and sun, a seemingly impossible vision is taking root. Xinjiang, a region defined by its rugged deserts and harsh landscapes, is rapidly transforming in a way that no one had ever thought possible. Known primarily for its arid climate, towering mountains, and sprawling plains, it seemed an unlikely place for one of the most ambitious aquaculture projects the world has ever seen. The very notion of farming aquatic life in such a landlocked desert environment seemed laughable to many experts. After all, Xinjiang was a land defined by extreme seasonal shifts, scorching summers, and bitterly cold winters with minimal rainfall and no access to the oceans. The region's saline alkali soils posed another formidable obstacle, further clouding any hope for successful aquatic farming. So when the idea was first pitched, skeptics far and wide were quick to dismiss it as an impractical and unrealistic pipe dream. But in 2023, China took the leap. Instead of relying on the conventional wisdom that confined fish farming to coastal regions, the government began a bold experiment, introducing millions of fish into this seemingly inhospitable environment. The goal was not for academic research or small-scale testing, but for full-scale commercial farming. This was no laboratory experiment with controlled conditions. This was the real thing. Fish were introduced into Xinjiang's desert landscape with nothing but the land, water, and time to make it work. The initial pushback was fierce, but the dream was alive for the government, and they weren't stopping for anything. Xinjiang's future was now inextricably linked to a vision of thriving aquatic farming. One that would have profound implications not just for China but for the world's agricultural practices. 1 year later, that vision has begun to defy expectations, rewriting what was thought possible in agriculture. This audacious undertaking is no longer just a story of hope. It's a game-changing reality that is shifting the paradigm of land-based fish farming. Xinjiang's landscape is a paradox in itself. At first glance, the region's vast deserts like the Taklamakan paint a picture of dry, barren land. Hardly a place one would expect to find thriving fish farms. But beneath the surface of this seemingly inhospitable environment lies a hidden treasure: water. Over 3 million hectares of lakes, rivers, ponds, and reservoirs dot the landscape, offering a glimmer of promise for a land once thought too arid to support aquatic life. The most precious of Xinjiang's resources is the glacial meltwater that cascades down from the Tianshan Mountains. Cold, clean, and rich in dissolved oxygen, this water is a natural oasis for aquatic species. It is a vital element that sustains life in the otherwise arid landscape. Flowing year-round, the water from the glacier was largely untapped for generations, ignored by previous agricultural initiatives. But as the need for inland fisheries grew, the hidden potential of these glacial-fed basins came into focus. These reservoirs fed by pristine meltwater were now ready for a different kind of transformation. What was once an overlooked resource became the backbone of a revolution. For the first time, Xinjiang's remote water bodies were put to work, not just to irrigate crops, but to nourish the fish that would redefine aquaculture in the region. As the glacial waters flowed down into these reservoirs, they became the foundation for a thriving industry. No longer just a source of life for the people of Xinjiang, these waters were now seen as the lifeblood of an emerging aquaculture sector that promised to turn the region's natural challenges into an opportunity. And with each passing month, the fish thrived. The experiment proved viable, and Xinjiang began its slow but steady rise as an unexpected powerhouse in the world of high-end seafood farming. In this desert paradox, what seemed impossible at first was now taking shape. One reservoir, one fish, and one glacial drop of water at a time. Xinjiang's future as an aquaculture hub was no longer just a dream. It was an unfolding reality that would shape the future of sustainable food production for generations to come. An unprecedented experiment began when the fish arrived in the summer of 2023. Planes departed from Xiamen, Hainan, and other coastal provinces, their bellies heavy with the cargo that would challenge every assumption about China's deserts. On board were thousands of aquatic seedlings, crayfish, pearl gentian groupers, crab fry, and cold water salmon hatchlings. All destined for a landlocked region that most people would associate with nothing but sand and scorching heat. Yet, this was no ordinary cargo. This was part of an unprecedented experiment, a bold and ambitious venture designed to disrupt the very fabric of agriculture in one of China's most arid regions. The scale of the operation was immense. 30,000 crab seedlings were flown from Salmon County in Jiangxi to a cooperative located in Aral City, a place that seemed too inhospitable for any life to thrive, let alone marine life. Meanwhile, 2,000 groupers made the long journey from Hainan, arriving at saline alkali sites, a stark contrast to the rich marine ecosystems they were accustomed to. The logistical coordination was staggering, involving intricate planning and a vast network of transportation. This wasn't just about transferring species. It was about reshaping ecosystems and livelihoods. It was a symbol of defiance against nature itself, an audacious challenge to the long-held belief that desert lands couldn't be home to thriving aquatic life. But for Xinjiang, this wasn't merely an agricultural project. It was an act of agricultural defiance. The vast, sprawling desert terrain characterized by unforgiving heat and water scarcity was not a place anyone expected to witness aquatic farming on such an ambitious scale. Yet here they were turning the impossible into reality. The ecosystems they were creating were designed to transform the very nature of agriculture in a region that had for centuries been known for its difficult climate and limited resources. The reservoirs of Nilka County, nestled in the Ili-Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture of Xinjiang, were an unexpected but perfect match for the salmon that had been transported from the cool waters of northern Europe. These reservoirs, fed by the meltwaters of nearby glacier, had a natural water temperature of 12 degrees Celsius year-round, an ideal condition for cold water species like salmon. What was once considered an inhospitable barren landscape was now becoming a cutting-edge site for an aquaculture revolution. Here, floating cages of varying sizes were placed in the reservoir, each holding salmon at different stages of their growth cycle. These cages, meticulously arranged across the expansive water, provided the perfect environment for the fish to thrive. Above the water, the sun blazed relentlessly, casting its scorching rays over the land. Below the surface, however, the fish remained cool and protected. Automated systems fed the salmon with carefully calculated quantities of nutrients, ensuring their health and growth throughout the year. The salmon, once hatchlings, began their 3-year growth cycle in this surprisingly hospitable environment. What was once considered a barren, lifeless zone, an arid desert, had now become a thriving hub for aquatic life. The fish grew at an impressive rate, adjusting to their artificial habitat. While the surrounding ecosystem slowly adapted to the integration of aquatic life in such an unlikely location, these salmon weren't just surviving. They were thriving, laying the foundation for an entirely new chapter in desert farming. In Xinjiang, the phrase desert farming had just been redefined. The transformation was nothing short of extraordinary, proving that with innovation, determination, and the right conditions, even the most inhospitable lands could be transformed into fertile ground for agricultural success. And as the salmon swam calmly in the glacial-fed waters, the world began to take notice. Desert farming, it seemed, was no longer just a dream. It was a reality. In the heart of Xinjiang, a land once deemed unfit for agriculture, the impossible has become a reality. Tumxuk City, known for its harsh saline alkali soil, is now home to thriving fish ponds that emerge from what was once barren land. Soil so saline that nothing could grow. This is the ultimate transformation where the desert meets the sea in a stunning demonstration of human ingenuity. Here, farmers have redefined what it means to cultivate life in the most unlikely of places. The process begins in the controlled warmth of greenhouse nurseries, where saltwater fish fries are raised in optimal conditions throughout the winter. These young fish, bred in specially designed tanks with carefully calibrated salinity and temperature levels, are nurtured until the time is right to make their transition into the harsh outdoors. As the temperature rises, these fries are carefully transported to saline ponds where their environment is meticulously engineered to simulate the conditions of the ocean. These ponds, though located in the midst of a desert, are infused with trace elements and probiotics, creating a man-made seawater system capable of supporting marine life. It's an elaborate yet highly effective process designed to replicate the nutrient-rich environment of the sea without the need for proximity to one. This innovation marks a significant departure from traditional aquaculture methods. Instead of relying on ocean access or temperate coastal conditions, Xinjiang has created its own marine ecosystem, one capable of producing marine species at scale in an otherwise arid and inhospitable land. What was once thought to be a curse, saline alkali soil, has now become an asset in the world of precision farming. The impact of this transformation is profound as it opens the door for other desert regions to explore their untapped potential. It's over for the idea that only coastal or temperate regions can host thriving fish farms. Xinjiang's aquaculture breakthroughs have proven that with the right technology, commitment, and innovation, nature's limitations can be overcome. The future of fish farming has arrived, and it doesn't depend on oceans, but on machines, metrics, and massive yields. The innovation doesn't stop with the creation of artificial seawater. It extends into the very heart of Xinjiang's aquaculture operations. These are not the traditional labor-intensive farms of the past. This is a new era of fish farming, one where every aspect of production is controlled by advanced technology and meticulously calculated processes. In Xinjiang, every fish farm operates as a high-tech facility powered by a network of sophisticated algorithms. These farms are equipped with automatic feeders, environmental sensors, and temperature-controlled systems. Each pond and tank is constantly monitored to ensure that water quality, salinity, and temperature are maintained at optimal levels. Environmental data is fed into a central hub where it is analyzed and used to adjust conditions in real time. For example, the ice boxes that store freshly harvested fish are controlled by digital systems that ensure temperatures remain below 5 degrees Celsius, preserving freshness. The fish are then quickly packed in ice, processed, and prepared for shipping, all within 24 hours of harvest. This ensures that the product remains top quality, meeting the stringent standards of markets far and wide. These high-tech systems allow for remarkable efficiency. One processing center operating in this arid landscape has the capacity to handle up to 50 tons of salmon daily. Each fish is harvested with precision, and the operations run around the clock, ensuring a continuous supply of fresh seafood. The use of sensors and automated systems also minimizes human error, maximizing both yield and quality. What sets Xinjiang apart from coastal fisheries is its ability to scale operations without the environmental challenges that many coastal farms face. Rising sea temperatures and overexploitation of natural resources have forced many traditional fisheries to scale back or close entirely. In contrast, Xinjiang's desert farms are designed to be sustainable from the ground up, reducing their ecological footprint while optimizing every aspect of production. This is not just fish farming. It is precision aquaculture where technology and nature are seamlessly integrated to ensure both ecological and economic sustainability. And for Xinjiang, this revolution is just beginning. The possibilities are endless as these farms continue to push the boundaries of what is possible in agriculture and aquaculture. The desert, once a harsh barrier to growth, now stands as a testament to innovation, proving that with the right tools and vision, anything is possible. The Gudarok Aquaculture Cooperative, nestled at the edge of the Taklamakan Desert, tells a remarkable story of perseverance, innovation, and transformation. The cooperative's founder, Ma Chunhua, recalls the early days when the idea of farming in such a harsh, arid region was viewed with skepticism. In 2017, there were only a handful of members, no established blueprint, and an overwhelming sense of uncertainty. But Ma, driven by a vision and unwavering determination, saw potential where others saw nothing but dust. Her journey, which began with modest goals, evolved into a pioneering model for aquaculture in one of the world's harshest environments. Through years of trial, error, and adaptation, Ma crafted a dual farming system that was nothing short of revolutionary. Crayfish, a species that thrived in aquatic environments, was raised alongside water caltrop, an aquatic plant known for its adaptability and high nutritional value. This hybrid model proved to be a resounding success. The result of this synergy, a product of exceptional meat quality, which quickly gained a strong foothold in the market. The crayfish not only grew to meet demand, but the cooperative's unique cultivation method added an extra layer of prestige to its offerings. Today, the cooperative yields an impressive 150 kilograms of crayfish per moo, significantly surpassing the average output of traditional farming models. For each member, this innovation generates an additional income of 50,000 yuan annually, a remarkable achievement that has drawn attention from across the region. The membership of the cooperative, which began with just for individuals, has now expanded to 100 as the success of Ma's vision continues to spread. What was once a barren desert deemed unsuitable for farming is now a thriving hub of aquaculture. The old belief that deserts were unfit for fish farming, it's over. Xinjiang's aquaculture revolution, which began as a daring experiment, is no longer a distant dream, but a thriving reality that continues to grow and evolve. Through Ma's innovation and the cooperative's commitment, the future of farming in arid landscapes is being redefined. In the world of aquaculture, timing isn't just important, it's everything. The window between harvest and delivery can make or break the quality of the product. And in Xinjiang, the region has mastered both time and taste, elevating its fishery industry to unprecedented heights. From the cold, crisp waters of Kalasu Township in Nilka County, the journey of Xinjiang's prized salmon begins. These fish, raised in reservoirs fed by glacial meltwater, undergo a rapid transformation from harvest to plate. In less than 24 hours, these salmon travel from their freshwater homes to the tables of discerning customers across China. The process is nothing short of a well-oiled machine. Automated systems ensure that the fish are swiftly processed and packaged at the cooperative's state-of-the-art facilities. Refrigerated trucks designed to maintain optimal temperatures transport the fish with military precision. Once the salmon are loaded onto air freight, they're whisked away, making their journey to restaurants and markets in a fraction of the time typically needed. But it doesn't stop there. The rise of digital platforms and e-commerce in Xinjiang has allowed the region's seafood to reach broader markets than ever before. Real-time order management has made it possible to serve fresh seafood directly to consumers, allowing for lightning-fast deliveries that keep pace with the growing demand. The numbers speak for themselves. In 2023, Xinjiang's online seafood sales skyrocketed, crossing 395 million yuan, a staggering 106% increase from the previous year. The demand for desert-raised fish, once a novelty, has now become a gourmet offering that's coveted by foodies and chefs alike. From the edge of the Taklamakan Desert to the bustling tables of China's finest restaurants, Xinjiang's cold chain logistics and innovative farming techniques have revolutionized the aquaculture industry. What was once an impossible dream, growing fish in one of the driest places on Earth, is now a thriving and profitable enterprise. And the best part, this is just the beginning. The possibilities for Xinjiang's aquaculture future are boundless, and the rest of the world is watching closely as the region continues to rewrite the rules of farming in arid environments. It's clear the future of aquaculture, once thought impossible, is thriving in the heart of the desert. And for those who doubted, it's over. A single year of relentless innovation, trial, and adaptation brought forth outcomes that many had once thought improbable. In the summer of 2023, Xinjiang's experiment with desert aquaculture had already begun to show signs of success. But as the year passed, the data spoke louder than any prediction had. What began as a bold venture into the unknown had transformed into a model of efficiency and sustainability. The arrival of 12,000 pearl gentian grouper seedlings marked a critical milestone in this journey. These fish were the result of precise planning and optimal breeding techniques aimed at introducing a high-value species that could thrive in the region's carefully engineered ecosystems. The projected output of 6.2 tons of grouper was expected to command a market price of 150 yuan per kilogram, a lucrative figure that underscored the success of this bold gamble. The introduction of such high-demand species not only elevated the economic viability of the venture but also demonstrated the transformative potential of Xinjiang's aquaculture systems in reshaping traditional agricultural paradigms. Meanwhile, the region's cold water fish farms were experiencing explosive growth. The annual production of salmon neared an astonishing 7,000 tons, far surpassing early expectations. These farms, powered by cutting-edge technology and climate control mechanisms, were producing fish at a scale that was previously unimaginable for such a desert region. The projected revenue from the expanded cold water farms was a staggering 30 million yuan, a figure that highlighted the profitability and scalability of desert aquaculture. This wasn't just a niche experiment. It had become a thriving industry. The breadth of this success could be seen in the diversity of species now thriving in Xinjiang's controlled environments. More than 100 different fish species, many imported from outside the region, had been introduced, adapted, and were now flourishing. This impressive variety contributed to both food security and the ecological balance of the region. It was a testament to the ingenuity behind the development of Xinjiang's aquaculture systems, where once thought unyielding landscapes now teemed with life. What started as an ambitious experiment in the face of skepticism had evolved into a scalable, profitable system. It was no longer merely a gamble for the future. It was a forecast that had been realized. This forecast had proved to be not just a prediction but a tangible reality.